Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for joining me for this palm reading example. I'm going to show you this right hand of a female, and I'm just going to talk about some of the things that stand out. So in palmistry we look at everything on the palm, not just the lines, we look at the whole hand. So being a female hand, the first thing that stands out for me is that I look at the finger length, and the standard finger length for the ring finger is approximately the same length as the index finger for a female. If a female has a slightly longer ring finger, that gives a little bit more masculine traits. So she might be more ambitious and have this bit of a drive, and she might have a very solid sense of her ego. And so the other features that the long ring finger gives is a little bit of a risk taker. So she might have a little bit of a risk-taking personality, which is quite helpful for the other features that she has. She has got a normal length pinky, but she has a nice solid thumb. So the nice solid thumb gives qualities like business-like qualities, like determination, strong will, strong logic, and a nice sort of a go-getter type person. So together with the qualities of the long ring finger that I mentioned, they help with the person's ambitions and getting things that they want in their life. So I'll bring up a close-up of the palm so that I can talk to you about the lines. See if I can work out how to use this. There it is. So the first thing that I noticed is the fate line. The fate line is the line that rises up towards the middle finger. So she has got some variations to this line. At the almost halfway mark, there seems to be like a clash. So it's more likely that in the early 20s, there has been a change in her goals or motivations or career. And again, once that fate line hits this line, which is the headline, I'll talk about that in a minute. It looks like it's shifted over. It stops here, but it shifts over to the left. So that shows that is still the fate line, but it's moved over. So around age 35, likely another big change in the career. And because this line is quite curvy, I've drawn it a little bit straight, but it's quite curved, so that it's kind of an indecisive line, so it hasn't quite got a steady path yet. So it's like maybe the person's considering their options or making a gradual change towards what they want. And it's sort of like a doubling. Looks like there's other fine lines here, so it looks like a double fate line. A double fate line also belongs to those that have like business-like qualities, because they have multiple goals, potentially having two different sides of the business potentially, or just somebody who studies a lot while they're working or having a business. So doing more than one thing represents as a double fate line, much like this. And it more so started around after age 35 by the look of it, and then there is the probably more closer to 40 age when another line is starting to kick in a little bit stronger, representing that second goal or second income source. But there is a stress line that comes out and crosses this fate line after the 35 mark, like closer to the 40 mark. So it may be that little piece of stress that initiates this change that's coming, if that makes sense. And then there are some fine new lines, not very clear in this image, but there are fine lines that are rising up here. They look like new lines. So they would be the success line. So whatever this is happening in the middle here looks like will eventuate into something that the person is enjoying. So they're finding happiness out of that. So this headline that I was going to mention, it has clearly have a fork on it. So it starts out at like a fairly clean line, but then splits. So splitting headline kind of gives like a split personality, where it's giving some practical, the practical business-like side, and then there is this creative side that's reaching more towards this moon area. So there's quite a bit of moon energy coming out into the thoughts, so the creative side, and potentially like a nurturing or empathetic kind of nature. So it's good to have that split there, so the person is likely to be quite open-minded. And with the lifeline, this is the lifeline here, and it not very well drawn, mind you, from probably bit after halfway. If we were to time that, that's probably around age 40 approximately, for halfway along the lifeline. So there are some lines that branch out. So it looks like potentially some activity that is more out there beyond the age of 40. So potentially travel, these can be known as travel lines if the person does a lot of traveling, and especially if it's, whether it's for pleasure or for career. But there is a kind of a connection here to one of these. So one of them may be an overseas trip as well. So I'll quickly mention some of the other lines that are visible here. We have a partial girdle of Venus here. Usually the girdle of Venus is a complete line, but it's quite rare to have a complete girdle of Venus. So there is a partial girdle of Venus. This is the heart line, which looks like it also has a bit of a fork, which gives a variety in expressing emotions. And there are some signs of some stress. These lines that are here, some crossing the lifeline, show a little bit more of a stressful period before the age of 30, but looks like only a couple of those lines cross the lifeline. So potentially one of them is career related, because it reaches to the fate line, which is also called the career line. Then we have there's a line rising up here that is called the line of ambition, and that generally gives that character of somebody who is quite ambitious in their life. And then there are some of these lines leaving the heart line. They potentially just showing some emotion, but some of them look like, it's a little bit blurry, look like they're reaching out to the headline. So that usually represents someone who turns an emotional thought into something more logical, like they will add logic to their emotion. Either that, or they may hold back some emotion. It's like not easily sort of expressing their emotion. So that's about all we are going to talk about today, and I hope that you've learnt something good from that. And don't forget to please subscribe and go ahead and visit DestinyPalmistry.com for hundreds of articles to learn even more. Thanks for coming.